Today, I'm going to teach you how to get published. Hi, my name is Sierra and I'm a photographer, and as of today, my work has been published 8 times, which is so crazy because I never would have thought that that would have happened. I've learned a lot in the past 4 years on how to get published, so I wanted to share with you the steps you can take to not only make it easier to get published, but also more likely for your submissions to be accepted. This will be a 2-part video, so in part 2, I will be taking you along with me to shoot an editorial concept and just show you some behind the scenes, and also we will see if my work gets published in the magazine that I am hoping for. So the first step to getting published may be kind of obvious, but you need to find magazines to submit to. It's really important that you start with this step because you want to make sure that your photography style fits the style of the magazine. If you end up submitting to a magazine that doesn't publish anything like what you've shot, you have a much lower chance of getting accepted. So the 2 main ways that I have found magazines to submit to are through Instagram and through Caviar. I will link some of the magazines that I have submitted to through Instagram down below. When you're searching for magazines on Instagram, I would just suggest typing magazine in the search bar and just seeing what pops up. And if you find one that accepts photography submissions, go ahead and look at who they're following, because oftentimes these magazines will follow each other so that you can find even more places to submit to. So the second source I want to talk about today is Caviar. Now, Caviar is a free website that has a ton of photography magazines that are actively looking for submissions. Instead of you having to do the work to find the magazines, they're all right there at your fingertips. Now, I will say these are not mass distributed magazines. These are not magazines you're going to find at the grocery store. These are magazines that are specifically designed to help photographers get published. This might be disappointing at first because you want as many people to see your work as possible, but I promise you it's still well worth it to get published in one of these magazines, even if they're not mass distributed. To have your work published in a magazine means that it meets a really high quality standard, and also is just a great way to boost your own portfolio and your legitimacy as a photographer. When your future clients see that your work has been published in a magazine, that might be the deciding factor to make them want to book you, because they know that they can trust you with their photos. And here's a pro tip: do not submit to multiple magazines at once. When you submit to a magazine, you are giving them the exclusive rights to publish your photos. So if you submit to 3 magazines and 3 say yes, you're going to run into a problem. Instead of submitting to multiple magazines at once, I would suggest making a list of all of the magazines that you would like to submit to and go one by one down the list as you submit. And make sure that you wait until you hear back from your first submission before you submit to the next one. Okay, now that we've covered the first step, I'm going to go ahead and grab myself a matcha and we'll move on to the second step. Hi, could I get a tall iced matcha latte with strawberry syrup? Okay, we're out here. I was just gonna film at the coffee shop, but there was just one guy outside working, and if there were more people and more noise, I feel like I would have just done it, but it was just one guy, and no way, I was not gonna bug him. So anyways, second step to getting your photos published is the best and most fun part, which is coming up with a concept. So if you're wondering, how am I gonna create a concept for these magazines? Well, the best thing you can do is actually just start looking through some of them. Try to pick some common themes and ideas from each of the magazines that you want to submit to and create a concept that would work well, not just for one magazine, but for multiple magazines. Pinterest is also such a great place for inspiration. There is all sorts of types of photography on Pinterest, so I would recommend also maybe creating a mood board to help you organize your ideas. Instagram, of course, is another great way to find a ton of inspiration, but remember, this is for inspiration, so make sure to add your own creative touch to any of your images. The third step is to figure out the logistics of your shoot. Who will be modeling? Do you need a makeup artist? Do you need a hairstylist? Do you need to find props? Do you need to book a studio? These are all things to consider, and for a fashion or editorial photo shoot, things can definitely get expensive quickly. So here's a breakdown of some of the potential costs. Studio rental, $100 to $400. Lighting assistant, $50 to $100. Props, $50 to $100. Hairstylist, $100 to $200. Makeup artist, $50 to $200. Stylist, $100 to $250. Model, $50 to $400. Submission fee. Now usually this is free, but depending on the magazine and if you're going to be submitting for the cover, especially on Caviar, that can be up to $80. Retoucher, $10 to $15 per image. And finally, purchasing the magazine, which is usually $25 to $45 per magazine issue. As you can see, there are a lot of potential costs to be aware of when doing a shoot, but you can avoid some of these costs through collaboration. If you're still a beginner to photography or it's your first time submitting, I would suggest working with makeup artists and hairstylists who are a little less experienced for your first photo shoot. The reason being, if a hairstylist has worked with hundreds of different models on photo shoots before and you ask them to collaborate with you, they're likely just going to send you a price quote. Once you have a little bit more experience under your belt as a photographer, you can work with people who have a little bit more experience and they'll be more willing to collaborate with you. While studio rental is usually a non-negotiable, collaborating with makeup artists, hairstylists, and models is really common and usually benefits everyone involved. For example, for a makeup artist, to say that they've worked on a photo shoot shows that they're able to provide their service in a timely manner and work in a professional setting. Another benefit that everybody receives is free edited photos, which is awesome for promotion for social media and websites. And if you get published, it's a win-win for everybody because being credited in the magazine just further shows the professional value of the services that they provide. When you reach out to people to collaborate, just make sure that you use the word collaborate up front so that they know what to expect. Tell them how working with you will provide them value. Remember, if they're going to be offering their services and talents for free, they need to know that there will be some sort of value reciprocated back to them. Another pro tip, most fashion and editorial magazines require 4 looks at the very least for their submissions for their photo shoots. So make sure that you have enough outfits ready. So you have figured out the magazines you want to submit to, what your concept is, who you're going to work with in order to execute this concept, and all of the logistics behind your shoot. Now it's time to prepare. If you are booking a studio, make sure that you have booked enough time in order to execute the concept and coordinate with everybody involved to make sure that everybody can commit to showing up on time. Also, as you're preparing for your shoot, make sure that you have set aside enough time to gather props, do a fitting for your model, and also talk to hair and makeup and make sure that everybody's ideas and expectations are on the same page. Now you're ready. Now, on the day of the shoot, make sure that you have an extra SD card, your camera battery is charged, and that you're wearing comfortable clothing so that you can easily move around and get the angles that you need. Also, make sure that your model, hairstylist, and makeup artist have a place to meet in order to get their work done and have enough time to get their work done before getting to the studio. Another pro tip, having a friend come with you and just help you stay organized can be really helpful on a shoot like this. And if they can help shoot behind the scenes, even better. And lastly, before you start shooting, make sure that you have reviewed the submission criteria for your photo shoot and that you meet all of the basic requirements and that there isn't anything that you forgot about. In my next video, I'm going to be showing you behind the scenes of how I do conceptual shoots in studio so that you can take a peek at my process. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.